welcome to the Kelly Roach Show, a place for no fluff, easy to implement, 20-minute or less business and leadership lessons to help you build a sustainable business that scales. Let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Kelly Roach Show. Today we are talking about the difference between operating in transaction versus calling and how to get the ultimate competitive edge to elevate in your industry and to achieve category leadership. So let's break it down. When I was leading and managing people for the first time and I was growing my career in the Fortune 500, I learned a very important lesson about people. And that lesson was that there are people who are intrinsically motivated and there are people that are extrinsically motivated. And the people that are intrinsically motivated because they have drive and fire and accountability and passion from within always, and I mean always, outperform people that are extrinsically motivated. What are people like that are extrinsically motivated? They want the carrot, they want the pat on the back, they want the achievement, they want the outcome, they want the money, they want the promotion, all of those things. Now, is being extrinsically motivated bad? No, it is not bad to want to make more money. It is not bad to want to elevate your career. It is not bad to want people to see you in a certain light. There's nothing wrong or bad about any of those things. But the problem is that they're unsustainable. The problem is that there are going to be times in your career where you're not getting a pat on the back. There are going to be times in your life where you're doing all the work and you're receiving no external reward. There are going to be times in your career where no one is clapping for you. And the times where no one is clapping, and the times where there's no extrinsic reward, and the times where no one is acknowledging or recognizing or congratulating, there's no trophy, there's no money, there's no outcome immediately available to you. Those are the most important times for you to double down and perform. I learned this about people because what I discovered and found in leading people is that those who have an intrinsic desire from within to be the best that they can possibly be, because they have a sense of pride and mission and vision for their life that they are charging towards, regardless of the external stimuli and how it is either encouraging or discouraging them, they're going to be the people in the most important times that are able to lean in and elevate up and get results. And I think this is so telling and it's so important in a time like this in particular, because it's during the hard times that you're doing the work that produces good times. I'm going to say that again. It's during the hard times that you're doing the work that produces good times. In fact, another trend that I saw over and over again in my Fortune 500 career was that when a branch and team started doing really, really well for a period of time, they were at the greatest risk for a horrible year the next year. Because during the good time, they forgot to do the things that they did during the hard time that produced the good times, which then led to more hard times. And so as leaders, we had to be very, very careful of putting extra emphasis on keeping branches that were already winning on track to keep winning. Because the default is typically, as soon as you start to have success, you stop doing the thing that made you successful. That's why so many entrepreneurs who are having success live launching decided they were going to stop live launching and their businesses collapsed. Because the thing that made them successful, they started taking for granted and even resenting. And then they decided they were going to go evergreen, or they were going to build a funnel, or they're going to do webinars, or they're going to take time off launching, or whatever the case. And then a year later, they're at our doorstep saying, what do? I have to lay off my entire team. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I'm starting over. And it's like, because you stopped doing the things that made you successful. Now, with live launch in particular, we teach launch cycling, because we don't want you to have the pressure of doing one launch a year. And if it doesn't go well, you're up shit's creek because you just spent all your money and all your time and all your bandwidth, and this launch didn't perform. But for a lot of people, when they're in a high growth season, they might be doing 6 or 8 launches a year. Now, that's not going to be sustainable for forever. You have to be the captain of your own ship. You have to determine the pace. You have to determine the direction. You have to determine the frequency that you're going to row your boat. But you can't take the oars out of the water and stop rowing completely. Okay? So when we talk about transaction versus calling, I really want to help you to understand how to get the edge that's going to last a lifetime for you. And I feel really proud of the fact that I'm in year 11, I'm going into year 12 as an online entrepreneur, and I feel more excited and more invested and more convicted and more passionate about building and growing my businesses online than I ever have. And for most people that have been in business for this long in this space, that is absolutely not the case. In fact, I've seen so many people come and go, and obviously you're all witnessing this trend of everyone wanting to burn it all down now. And, that's just a byproduct of going from an overinflated market to a market that's more normalized. For those of you that weren't running multi-million-dollar companies pre-COVID, the market that we're in today very much mirrors and mimics what the market was like for all of us running multi-million-dollar companies before COVID. People are still buying. People are still making investments. They're just using their brains because it's not an unlimited stream of stimulus the way that it was, a year or 2 ago. Okay. So you're going to be okay. It's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. It always does. But there are entrepreneurs that operate based on calling, and there are entrepreneurs that operate based on transaction. And those that get caught up in transaction are people that are really relying upon the external motivation of each outcome and milestone that they're achieving. And when they go through seasons and cycles of growth, which inevitably have highs and lows and ups and downs, they lose the fire and passion for their calling, and a lot of times are tempted to close their business or shut down their programs or kind of push everything to the wayside and start over again, or, close one business and start another, because they don't realize that those hard times are what produce good times. And really taking that time to understand what is being called of them next and how they need to grow in order to reset is very, very important. I think it's important to understand that when you're having a hard time in business, if you shut your business down or you simply just start over, then you're just doing that. You're starting over, but you don't actually learn through and acquire the skills that come through leading through that challenge that you're currently facing. Which means that chances are when that same challenge presents itself again, because it will, now, once again, you're not equipped to lead through it, because the last time that you were faced with it, instead of leading through it, you quit. And I'm not suggesting in any way, shape, or form that when it's time to pivot or change or reinvent, that you keep going just to keep going. But I am suggesting that you reflect deeply on the growth mindset and the leadership and the development that you need in order to be the CEO that you're called to be in the long term. Because too many people, when faced with a challenge that they don't know how to overcome, instead of grounding themselves and planting their feet firmly to learn what they need to know in order to get to where they want to go, they instead change directions so that they have the ability to avoid facing that thing in front of them. And we keep getting presented in life with the same lessons over and over again until we demonstrate understanding. And so when you quit to avoid a challenge, when you stop pursuing a goal to avoid a challenge, when you stop pursuing a path because it became hard or ugly, or, you're hitting a roadblock, all that's going to happen is that same challenge will present itself in a new and different way on the new path that you took to avoid it. And most people don't get this. They don't understand that that's being put in your path because you're intended to learn and grow through it and from it. Simply avoiding it in one situation doesn't mean that you're not going to face it in another. I see this with business owners all the time. They're like, I'm going to focus on teaching this thing instead of that because I think it's easier. I'm going to focus on this niche instead of that because I think it's less saturated, whatever the case. And I always kind of chuckle when I see this, because I know, and that the person that's running against the roadblock over here is going to have the same roadblock, probably even worse over here. But now they're starting from even less of a position of strength than they were in just a couple minutes ago. There's one way that I really believe that you can elevate to category leadership and continue to rise and rise and rise despite whatever challenges you face in business. And that is really digging into answering your calling. It's really digging into your soul, purposeful work that you believe you were put on the planet to create. There's nothing extrinsic that is an end point for you. There's no achievement, there's no dollar amount, there's no outward award or milestone that is going to check a box, because you're answering something that you believe is your purpose for being on the planet. You're doing work that you believe is deeply connected to your purpose for being here. And when you're able to connect with your calling and you're able to operate on that level, it's almost impossible to deter you. It's almost impossible to take you off track. You have a sense of conviction and certainty and confidence and clarity. There's like an air about this person that's so on purpose, that's so clear, so convicted, that nothing can stop them. And when you can pivot into purpose and you can really focus on answering your calling at the next level, you will instantly have an advantage. Because the people that are extrinsically motivated and the people that are really after the transaction, the next sale, the next like, the next comment, the viral video, like whatever it is, those people, when the challenges come, are going to have a really hard time because they get swayed emotionally by the direction of the wind and the direction of the results that day. Whereas when you are answering your calling, it is a lifetime. It is a lifetime. It's a mission. It's the purpose of your life. There's no start and no end. There's no box to check. There's no achievement that demonstrates completion. And you won't be deterred when you face challenges along the way. And this is why I'm such a strong advocate of really, in your business, I always say, stop trying to do the right thing and do the right thing for you. Because I think a lot of the mistakes that people make that take them off course in business are when they try to do the right thing, meaning the thing that's going to get them the most expeditious result or the easiest outcome or is going to be the most likely to succeed or blah, 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 blah. They try to engineer, this is what I'm supposed to do because this is the outcome I think that I'm going to get. When in a lot of instances, it's more so about, are you doing the thing that you're called to do? Are you answering your unique calling? Are you doing the thing that you were put on the planet to do? And that's when you're unshakable, you're unbreakable, you're undeniable, you're unstoppable, and you will achieve a level of greatness that you never imagined possible. So my question for you today is, how are you answering your calling in your life? And what would it look like to go a layer deeper into you answering that calling with conviction every single day? How can you elevate above the noise of your competition and step into true category leadership by owning your certainty around your purpose for being on the planet and aligning everything that you do with that? Now, there's so much more goodness that I want to share with you. And I have this amazing training that I put together. There is no pitch. There is nothing, no strings attached. I want you to head on over to Kelly Roach Official on Instagram. And I want you to DM me the word trends. DM me the word trends. And when you do, I'm going to send you an incredible training that I put together on how to pivot your team, how to set yourself up for success in this new economy, how to understand what is truly working right now for growth. And when you're answering your calling and you marry that with great strategy, great understanding of how to operate in today's climate, you are just going to crush it and no one is going to be able to touch that. So I want you to head over now to Kelly Roach Official and DM me the word trends, and I'll see you there.